and the midbrain part will not be further divided. It is just the midbrain, guys. And we'll come to the hindbrain. Hindbrain will have three parts. This will be the pons here right now, and this will be the medulla oblongata, pons and medulla, and this behind here, this will be the cerebellum part. This will be the cerebellum part, guys, and cerebellum. So pons, medulla and cerebellum, these three together are going to form your hindbrain. And remember, in this pons and this cerebellum behind, these two together, they are going to form your metencephalon, and medulla oblongata alone will be the myelencephalon. So I repeat it once more right now, guys. Pons and cerebellum, these two together will be metencephalon, and medulla oblongata alone will be the myelencephalon part here right now. This is myelencephalon, and medulla oblongata will continue down into this, what is nothing but the spinal cord. Fine. Now once you're comfortable with this terminology, I request all of you to please learn this perfectly right now, guys. Why? Because today I'm going to teach you like everything, the spinal cord, white matter, gray matter, the tracts and everything. So it's going to be like a very good session today. So please revise these names and be perfect with these names very quickly as soon as possible. Now once you are done with this one here, let me show you the same diagram of the brain in coronal section, guys. So this will be your brain here, and this will be the spinal cord here right now. And this will be in sagittal section. I'm cutting my brain and spinal cord exactly in the center here, right half and left half. We are seeing from one side. This is in sagittal plane. And now what I am going to do is, I am going to cut my brain in this plane. Yahan se. And after cutting my brain in this plane, I'm going to remove everything from the front here right now. And once you remove from the front, then we are going to see from the front. Okay, चलिए इसको आगे से देखते हैं. Let's see the brain from the front. When you are looking at the brain from the front, there will be one hemisphere here. This is the cerebral hemisphere, and this is another cerebral hemisphere. You'll be able to see both the cerebral hemispheres. And once you are able to see both the cerebral hemisphere, now it will continue down into the diencephalon, and diencephalon will continue down into the midbrain here. So this will be the cerebral hemisphere and diencephalon. आप सबको पता है कि these two together are going to form our forebrain. And after that, this part here in the middle will be the midbrain, and then that will continue down into the pons, and this will continue down to medulla oblongata, and that will continue down to the spinal cord. So this will be your hindbrain. But the question mark here, we are able to see the pons and the medulla here. Where is the cerebellum? Cerebellum is actually present behind. Is it okay? So why did I revise these two diagrams here? Like, why? Because today, the whole session that we are going to study today, guys, only these two diagrams. This is in sagittal section, and this is the diagram of the brain and spinal cord in coronal section when we are seeing from the front. I am cutting my brain here like this and remove everything from the front and see from the front. So in coronal plane, with the help of these two diagrams, I am going to complete the entire neuroanatomy today. Again, so by this, we'll do one thing here right now, guys. Let's get started with our today's class. Okay, so let's begin our first topic today, that is about the spinal cord. Spinal cord. Okay. Now, spinal cord, very important topic here right now, guys. Spinal cord. Every now and then, one question will come in your MCA exams, so be very alert about this one. Now guys, as I told you yesterday, first we are going to study the external features of spinal cord. We are first going to study the external features of spinal cord, guys. So first we are going to learn about the extent of the spinal cord. Spinal cord is going to extend from where to where? Extent is actually from C1 to L1, the first cervical vertebra up to the first lumbar vertebra. And if you want to remember this one, remember it is actually the lower border, up to the lower border of L1. That is from C1 to L1 and up to the lower border of L1. And once you are done with this extent here, this is actually the extent in the adults. Now similarly, in the recent exam, they have asked in neonates C1 to L3, L3 up to the upper border of L3, and this will be the extent of the spinal cord in neonates. Okay. So first you got to learn the extent, guys. Extent has been asked many times in the exams. Okay. So C1 to L1 in adults and C1 to L3 will be in the neonates. And once you are done with the extent here, next is the length of the spinal cord. Now guys, what is the length of the spinal cord? It will be like 45 centimeters, but this will be in the males, and it will be like 42 centimeters, but in the females. So the length of the spinal cord will be 45 centimeters in males, but whereas it is only 42 centimeters in the female. Then the next one will be, what is the shape of the spinal cord? The shape of the spinal cord will be cylindrical. Cylindrical, exactly like the pen that you're holding in your hand right now. So if this is my pen here right now, guys, so this will be like cylindrical. Spinal cord will be cylindrical. I think this was the place yesterday when finally our class got closed, है ना? So चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now my dear friends, remember, even though the spinal cord is uniformly cylindrical like this, है ना, cylindrical in shape, at two places there will be enlargements of the spinal cord. Spinal cord will be little bit bulged or enlarged. What are the two places where it will be enlarged? Number one place is, yes, wherever the spinal cord is going to give additional nerve, that is your brachial plexus for your upper limb. Brachial plexus for the upper limb. So there you require like more number of nerves. That is why spinal cord will be a bit enlarged. And then number two place where it is going to give more number of nerves for the lower limb. So there are two places where your spinal cord will be a little bit enlarged or bulged, and those two places, thank God, doctors have given a simple name. It is known as enlargements only. So please write down the setting as enlargements of spinal cord. So if this is the base of the skull, and now there will be two enlargements, guys. Yes. So our spinal cord is extending from C1 to L1, but you know there are two enlargements in the spinal cord here right now, and this enlargement is known as the cervical enlargement. That is cervical enlargement, and this enlargement here will be known as the lumbar enlargement, guys. So there are actually two enlargements in the spinal cord. One will be the cervical enlargement and it is lumbar enlargement. I think the names are very much meaningful. Is it okay? So basically there are two enlargements in the spinal cord. One is cervical, another one is lumbar enlargement. You got to remember. Now once you are done with all these features, now let us discuss in detail about the ending part of the spinal cord, guys. And this is extremely important for your FMG exams, guys, MCA exams. So please welcome and let us learn about the ending part of the spinal cord right now, the end of the spinal cord. Now I'm not going to draw the entire diagram of the spinal cord here right now, guys. I'm just going to draw the ending of the spinal cord. The spinal cord will actually end here in the cone shaped structure. And I hope all of you know the name of this one, guys. Try answering yourselves. Spinal cord is going to end in the form of cone shaped structure, and this is known as the conus medullaris. Very good, Rajit. Conus medullaris, guys. Spinal cord is going to end, yeah, very good, Rajkumar. Spinal cord is going to end in the form of cone shaped structure, and that is conus medullaris. And we all know that spinal cord is going to end where only? It is going to end near L1 only. है ना जी? And now, as a medical student, my doubt is that, sir, if it is ending at L1, then what do you say? Like what after L1? Okay, now what do you have after L1? Like what do you have in the remaining lumbar region, L2, L3, L4, L5, then the remaining sacral region, you know, remaining coccygeal. So up to, right from lumbar to sacral and coccygeal क्या होता है? वहाँ पर क्या होगा? अगर spinal cord यहीं पर end हो जाएगा, if the spinal cord is ending here only, then what do you have after that? So after that, remember, there will be a thread-like structure, and that thread-like structure is going all the way up to the coccyx. There will be a thread-like structure, and that is going all the way up to the coccyx. And this thread-like structure will be known as phylum terminale. Phylum terminale. Perfect. So first of all, you'll be having a cone-shaped structure, conus medullaris, and then from there is a thread-like structure, phylum terminale. And now, my dear friends, let us try to understand, okay, what is this phylum terminale? What's that phylum terminale? Okay. And I now request all of you, as I said you yesterday, guys, please, follow my instructions very, very quickly. I request all of you to now, please stop writing and please look here. First, I'll explain you the concept, then I'll give you 1 minute of time to write down the notes, copy down the notes. So everyone here right now, guys, please stop writing and look here. अब यार हमको डिसाइड ये करना है कि what is this phylum terminale? Phylum terminale क्या होता है? Now remember, we all know that our brain and the spinal cord are covered by 3 meninges: dura mater, arachnoid matter, and the pia mater. Outermost one, सबसे दूर जो होता है dura mater, and innermost one, सबसे पास जो होता है pia mater. And now, my dear friends, what is going to happen here is that innermost meninge will be pia mater, and this pia mater is very closely attached to the spinal cord. Whatever this red colored line I am drawing here, that is pia mater, that is very close to the spinal cord. And after coming near the end here right now, Now let us decide what is going to happen. Will it stop there? Will that pyometer stop there? No, that pyometer is not going to stop there at the end. It will continue down further. Is it okay? So this pyometer will actually further continue down here right now, and that continuation of the pyometer itself is phylum terminal. Is it okay? So my dear students, from today onwards, remember that this phylum terminal is nothing but the modification of pyometer. Wow, lovely. So phylum terminal is nothing but the modification of pyometer. Is nothing but one of the modification of pyometer. Now, automatically now the question comes in my mind, sir, if this is like pyometer, then what about the arachnoid matter and dura matter? Where is arachnoid and dura matter present then? So my dear friends, look here right now, guys. I'm using another color for that. Imagine here you have got the arachnoid and dura matter, and this arachnoid and dura matter are coming down and they are going to merge with the pyometer here. The arachnoid and the dura matter are going to come down here and they are going to merge with the pyometer here. Okay. Okay. So you imagine my this purple color line here to be both the layers, arachnoid matter, and outside that there is a dura matter. Is it okay? Fine here right now. So I repeat this once more here right now, guys. This red colored line here is the pyometer, and pyometer will continue down in the form of phylum terminal. Outside the pyometer, you imagine this blue colored line to be arachnoid, and outside arachnoid matter will be having what, guys? Dura matter. Wow, perfectly correct. Now, there are two important MCQs possible here, which was asked in the MCA exam. Number one MCQ is that where will arachnoid and where will this, arachnoid and dura matter meet? What is this level? At which level are they meeting? So remember, my dear friends, arachnoid and dura matter are meeting at the level of S2. Perfect. Okay, that is one MCQ, important MCQ. Okay, I request all of you to be like 200% alert here right now, guys. Why? Because this is the part which is important for your MCA exam, the ending part of the spinal cord. यहीं से कई बार सवाल आता है, ठीक है? Okay, जी, done. And now, yesterday I told you what is the, please look at me right now, everyone. Everyone, please look at me here. If this is dura matter and then arachnoid matter, and then innermost one is pyometer. Dura and arachnoid, this space is subdural. Arachnoid and the pyometer, and this level is actually the subarachnoid space. This is actually the subarachnoid space. Okay? So now, yesterday I taught you all people that subarachnoid space is the place where there will be CSF present. है ना? Subarachnoid space is the place where you have the CSF present there. So therefore, my dear friends, what in one more exam they have asked the question is that, yes, they have asked like, one more, in one of the exams they have asked the question that where will the subarachnoid space end? Where will this subarachnoid space end here right now? So answer remains again the same here right now, guys. The subarachnoid space is going to end at the level of S2. Okay, so therefore, in one of the exams the question was arachnoid and dura matter is going to join at the level of S2. Arachnoid and dura matter is going to join at the level of S2. And one more, the same, the another way of asking the same question is that where will the subarachnoid space ends? Remember, the subarachnoid space ends at the level of S2. Subarachnoid space ends at the level of S2. Perfect. So you've got to remember, this landmark here right now. So landmark number one, spinal cord is ending at the level of L1 here right now, guys. And landmark number two, the subarachnoid space is ending at the level of S2. And where is arachnoid and dura matter joining? Arachnoid and dura matter are also joining at the level of, the same S2. And guys, why is this very much important? Now let us correlate our anatomy with anesthesia actually. Okay, this will be helpful for you in anesthesia. This is the place where you can do the lumbar puncture. And this lumbar puncture has been asked several times in your MCA exam location on that. And now in my anatomy you can understand very clearly, guys, okay, why at this place are you doing the lumbar puncture? Why like that? Why? Because spinal cord is ending at the level of L1 and then subarachnoid space is ending at the level of S2. Spinal cord is ending at the level of L1 and then subarachnoid space is ending at the level of S2. So that is the reason why there you don't have spinal cord. है ना? So you don't have spinal cord here right now. So there are no chances of any injury to the spinal cord. And at the same time, yes, definitely we are going to get the CSF there. That is why we are going to do the lumbar puncture, guys. Is it okay? Fine here right now, guys. So this one diagram is very, very much important to you people. So please take care about that. Many questions or many MCQs we can easily solve from here. Chalo. Once you are done with this one, I have to just teach you one last and final thing here right now, guys. I hope you have written this one. Just confirm me, guys. Okay, Hafsa is asking here, sir, then phylum terminal is made up of just pia mater or all three dura mater? Lovely, very nice question, Hafsa. Please look here. Now, one of the question from our friend here is that is phylum terminal is made up of only the pia mater or all the three? See, for that you have to learn a little bit in more depth. This is actually purely the phylum terminal. Phylum terminal internus कहते हैं इसको हम, and that is made up of only pia mater. Whereas outside here, this is phylum terminal externus. That is nothing but made up of all three pia mater as well as arachnoid mater and dura mater. But still, if they ask you what is phylum terminal, you can always mark the answer as it's a modification of pia mater only. आप सिर्फ pia mater, ठीक है? That much in there they will not ask you in the MC exam. Just you remember, if they ask you what is phylum terminal, you can just mark the answer as it's a modification of pia mater. Okay. Now once you are done with this diagram here right now, so this is the ending of the spinal cord here right now. I just repeat this and then we'll go ahead. This is the ending of the spinal cord here right now, known as conus medullaris. From here, thread-like structure, phylum terminal. Okay. And then arachnoid and dura mater are meeting at the level of S2. And that is why we can say subarachnoid space is also ending at the level of S2 only. That's all done. And now one last concept. Come on, my dear friends. See, yesterday I told you how many spinal nerves do we have? How many spinal nerves do we have? We'll be having like 31 pairs of the spinal nerves. Very good, 31 pairs. Okay. Now, out of the 31 pairs, come on, my dear friends. I don't know whether you got that doubt in your mind till now or not. Out of 31 pairs, remember, 8 pairs. Pranaja, where is dura mater? I told you already, this blue colored line is representing both arachnoid and outside you'll be having dura. So you just imagine this is arachnoid plus dura. Okay, sure. Now, welcome to the last and final point here right now, guys. In this one, there will be totally 31 pairs of the spinal nerves. 8 pairs will be cervical spinal nerves. 12 pairs will be thoracic. Till there, I don't have any problem. Why? Because my spinal cord is present there. Spinal cord is present there and it is giving the branches. 8 pairs of cervical and 12 pairs of thoracic. Done. After that, what will happen? Lumbar, I told you 5 pairs. Now the problem is that, like our yesterday's knowledge and today's information, it's actually contradicting. Sir ne kaha tha, sir told there will be 5 pairs of lumbar. But today we are saying that our spinal cord is ending at L1 only. Then from where are you getting L2, L3, L4, L5? From where are you getting S2, S3, S4, S5? Remaining 5 pairs of sacral and then 1 pair of coccygeal. Are you getting a point here right now? So those nerves, wo kahan se aati hai? So now I will show you from where are you getting those remaining spinal nerves. So my dear friends, you imagine this is the ending part here right now. This one is the conus medullaris, phylum terminal, and this is the coccyx. Don't write the names again. Now in the lower segments of the spinal cord, many nerves are going to begin, and these nerves are going to descend down and come out. L2, L3, L4, L5, S1, S2, something like that. Now from the lower segments, many nerves are going to begin from here, descend down and come out. L2, L3, L4, L5, S1, blah blah blah. Now when the doctor has seen this for the very first time, this bundle of nerves will be appearing like the tail of the horse. And because it is the tail of the horse, this bundle of nerves is known as cauda and equina. Cauda means tail and equina is actually the biological name of the horse. So I request all my students to please learn with meaningfully padhiye sir, so that you can remember for long term. Samajh kar padhiye. So that bundle of nerves is actually known as the cauda equina. Cauda means tail and the equina is actually the biological name of the horse. Done, sir. Clear with this one here? And now, my dear friends, if you now observe in your books, whatever notes you have written till now we have just discussed the external features of the spinal cord. Okay, the length of the spinal cord, the extent of the spinal cord, and then we have discussed about the shape, the enlargements only from outside. सिर्फ हमने बाहर से देखा है अभी तक spinal cord. And now let us see the spinal cord from inside. So it's like a story one by one. चलिए हमने बाहर से तो देख लिया है. Now let us see the spinal cord from inside. So please write on the heading there as the transverse section of spinal cord. Transverse section of spinal cord. Okay, so let us see the spinal cord from inside, guys. So this will be your brain here right now, guys, and this will be the spinal cord here right now. And now we are going to take a transverse section, guys. Okay, perfect. Okay, so guys, as I told you yesterday also, in my class we are not going to like rush or something like that, guys. आराम से पढ़ते हैं, slowly. Okay. Yes, of course, Pranaja. Yes, dura matter merges with the phylum terminal. Fine. As I was telling you yesterday also, I was telling you guys, in our classes now we are not going to like rush or something like that. हम लोग आराम से पढ़ेंगे. I'll tell you slowly. Keep your notes, color pens ready, because if you write down the notes yourself, you learn more. Try not to go to the shortcuts nowadays, guys. Nowadays there are like so many things. I'll just read from the Xerox notes and all those things, Yeah. So please don't do that. Better when you write yourself, when you draw yourself, okay, no, then what will happen is that everything will be like easier for you. Okay, so please write the notes along with me and learn aram se, sir. We are not going to rush. Okay, now the transverse section of the spinal cord. Let me just take one message from here. Sometimes sound gets buffer. Omkar is saying that. What about other people? Just confirm me. Is there any issues with the sound with other people? Just confirm me, guys. Yes or no? Clear. Yes, no. No issues. Omkar, please take care, guys. See, it's actually dual. I think there is some issues with your connectivity, Omkar. Clear, sir. I'm getting so many messages. Okay. Sure. I'll be telling slowly. Don't worry, Omkar. Just try to see the connectivity from your side. Sure. No problem. Very good. Thank you all. Come on, let's study right now. Now let us study about the transverse section of the spinal cord, guys. Now my dear friends, when you are studying the transverse section of spinal cord, I think now this topic is a bit easier for you right now. Why? Because this we have been learning from from a school days. Let me draw the diagram and start drawing the diagram along with me right now. The transverse section of the spinal cord. Draw the diagram of the transverse section along with me here. Yeah. So the spinal cord is actually cylindrical like this here. And this is how the transverse section of the spinal cord will be. Is it okay? So because I told you it is like, cylindrical like this, now we are taking a section. Now my dear friends, here in the transverse section of the spinal cord, posteriorly there will be a slight depression. Okay. And this slight depression posteriorly, what is the name of this one? This one is known as the posterior median, exactly in the middle. That is why median, and it is a slight depression, therefore sulcus. Okay. So posteriorly you'll be having a slight depression, and that is known as the sulcus. Posterior median sulcus. Is it okay? Posterior median sulcus. And then similarly anteriorly you'll be having a deep depression inside. And this deep depression inside anteriorly is actually known as the anterior median fissure. It is known as anterior median fissure. I think you already know these are the simple anatomical terms. Sulcus means a slight depression, halka sa depression hota hai, and fissure means it is going to extend deep inside. Okay? So posterior median sulcus, anterior median fissure. And now slowly we are moving towards more higher concept. Now we all know that inside the spinal cord will be having like gray matter and the white matter, guys. Okay, so can you all answer me one thing? Where do you have gray matter in the spinal cord? Is it in the center? Gray matter, is it in the center, or the gray matter is in the periphery? Where do you have gray matter in the spinal cord? Is it in the center or periphery? Center or periphery? Very good, Rajkumar. It is in the center. Very good, Pranaja. Very nice, lovely. So the gray matter in the spinal cord will be in the center, and that too it is in the form of H shape. It's actually H shape or butterfly shape. H shape or butterfly shape. Perfect. Very nice, Venkat. Very nice, Dave. Okay. So it is H shape or butterfly shape. Okay. And exactly in the center, you'll be having a canal here. And this canal is actually known as the central canal. Central canal. Is it okay? And this already we have seen, okay, yesterday. It is actually the central canal of the spinal cord from where the CSF is going to pass. Cerebrospinal fluid is going to pass from there. Okay. Sure. Now, once you are done with this one, my dear friends, this gray matter here, this H-shaped gray matter. Now, what you do is in your books, hello everyone. Now, what you do in your books is that you do one thing: hide one half of the spinal cord, hide one half of the spinal cord, आधा spinal cord hide कर दो, and you just observe one half of the spinal cord. So don't look at the entire spinal cord, just look at half of the spinal cord here right now. And in this half of the spinal cord, when you see this one here, okay, in this half of the spinal cord, you can see the gray matter will be like two extensions. The gray matter is appearing to me like two extensions here right now. Okay, it's like two extensions. It's like two horns. So doctors kept the name as horns only. So this one is the dorsal horn and this one is a ventral horn. Understanding? So gray matter will be having like two extensions. And this extension of the gray matter will be known as the dorsal horn. Dorsal horn, and this extension of the gray matter is known as the ventral horn. So gray matter has got like two extensions, the dorsal horn and the ventral horn, and exactly same on the other side also. And now, my dear friend, this is the best way to approach this topic. If you are done with the dorsal horn and the ventral horn, because of these two horns, the entire white matter in the periphery is divided into three parts. So you're able to see a little bit of white matter here, and you are able to see a little bit of white matter over here, and you are able to see a little bit of white matter over here. Okay. So in the periphery, you'll be having what, guys? You'll be having white matter. And what is the name given to this white matter? This white matter is actually known as the columns. So this will be known as the dorsal column. And this will be the ventral column. Ventral column. And this here will be the lateral column. So basically the white matter is said to be the columns. So there'll be a dorsal column, ventral column and lateral column. Guys, I'm telling you a little bit slowly here, and I want you to learn the names. Names are important right now, guys. Why? Because within some time I'm going to teach you about the tracks and everything. And at that time, all these things will be useful to you. Dorsal column, ventral column. At that time, don't get confused. Okay, what is sir telling? Okay? So please try to learn the names, guys. In my classes, always I'll say this thing to many of the student guys. There's a lot of difference between listening and learning. सुनने और सीखने में बहुत फर्क है. और मेरी क्लासेस में अब मैं नहीं चाहता हूँ, in my classes I don't want you people to just keep on listening and just go away. This 4-5 hours whatever we are going to spend together, keep it like your study hours in your schedule and study along with me, learn along with me. Okay, I'm with you people. Okay, so please learn. So this 4-5 hours, just don't just sit simply and just keep on making the notes. Okay, so learn that one. Okay, so what is the name given for white matter, guys? Column, dorsal column,